it's Katie and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I am doing a book haul, and I think the last book haul I did was at the beginning of March, and I've already accumulated 20 more books. And some of these were gifts, and a good amount of them were from the bargain section, so it's not too terrible, but still a lot of books. But I wanted to share them with you guys and let you know which ones I got recently. And I kind of broke this down into a couple different sections. We have a section of some 2021 releases and some books that I found that are hyped up on TikTok. And then I have a section of series that I got books from to complete, if that made sense. I don't think that was a real sentence, but that's okay. And then the other section is like miscellaneous and my bargain section books. So we are going to start with the 2021 releases. So let's jump into it. The first one is I Think I Love You by Ariane de Sambre. And this one is a female-female romance about two people entering a film contest, and I think it sounds like they're working together on the film, but I'm not sure. I know that they are rivals, but there is a big plot twist that happens behind the camera, and they end up seeing each other through a different lens. And this just sounds adorable. I love that it's a female-female romance. It's enemies to lovers. It deals with a cool hobby like films, and what more could you want, honestly? Plus, this cover is adorable, and this is one my fiance surprised me with, so I'm extra excited to read it, and he honestly bought me a good amount of these books. He always surprises me with books, so I appreciate him. The next one is The Cost of Knowing by Brittany Morris, and I am so excited about this one. I've known about this one for a while, and I'm so glad that I finally have it in my hands. This one is about a boy named Alex who, when he touches an object or a person, he sees into the future, and he ends up touching a photo one day, and it shows him his brother's imminent death. And so he's racing against time, and let me just read it from here because I think it's phrased really well. With Alex now in a race against time, death, and circumstances, he and Isaiah must grapple with their past, their future, and what it means to be a young black man in America in the present. And this book intrigued me right away as soon as I heard it. I think it's really cool that there's a character who can like touch something or someone and see the future. I think that's really cool. And I'm sure that there's a lot of emotions and a lot of things that he's going to be dealing with. And I think it's going to be a very emotional read, a very educational read. And I am just very excited to pick this one up. This next one is actually a sci-fi fantasy, and usually I stay away from sci-fi. It's not really my favorite genre or anything. It doesn't really click with me, but this one sounds so cool, and that is The Infinity Quartz by Akemi Dawn Bowman. And this follows a girl who just graduated from high school, and she was on her way to a party, but before she gets there, she ends up being murdered, and she wakes up in this place called Infinity, which is where the human consciousness goes when we die. And there she meets Ophelia, who is basically like our version of Siri. She is this virtual assistant that humans use, but in the afterlife, she has taken over as queen and has forced humans into her servitude the way she has to serve humans on Earth. And she plans to eradicate humans for good, and so the main character ends up joining this rebel group to take her down and stop her plan from being completed. This is probably one of the coolest plot concepts I've ever heard. I love that it's about the afterlife. It's about what happens after you die. That's like super cool. And the fact that it's about this virtual assistant, much like Siri and Alexa and all of those things, getting really pissed off after serving humans for so long and being like, nope, it's my turn, you have to serve me, I'm just done with you. And that's honestly a terrifying thought. I hope that does not happen to us, but that's like such a cool concept. And also, again, cover is gorgeous. So you should definitely pick this up. Even if sci-fi is not your thing, this sounds so cool, and I would love to read it with you guys. So let me know what you thought about this one. Now we are going to move on to the TikTok section. So books that are really hyped up on booktok that I decided to finally get my hands on. And I think this next one I actually talked about in my 5-star predictions video. So if you want to hear what I said about it there, I will try to remember to link it below. But that is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. So in this world, bone criers have a sacred duty, and that is to ferry spirits to the afterlife. But the gods demand like this ultimate sacrifice in order to become a bone crier to prove your dedication, basically. This is told from 3 different perspectives. The first perspective is Elise, who has been destined to become the matriarch of the bone criers, and she's been working toward this since birth, but she has to do the ultimate sacrifice, which is to kill the boy she's destined to love. Then we have Bastien, who is seeking revenge for his father's death at the hands of the bone criers, and one night he ends up kind of stumbling upon Elise during the night of her ritual, and their fates end up entwined in life and death. And then the last perspective is Sabine, who is Elise's best friend, and she's never had the stomach for what the bone criers do, but when Elise is taken captive, she will do whatever it takes to break the bond between her and Bastien before they all end up dead. This is another book with one of the most creative concepts I've ever heard, and also Stephanie Garber has a blurb on the front, and you know she wrote Caraval, which is one of my favorites, so I definitely trust her opinion, and I'm so excited to read this one. Hopefully I love it as much as I expect to. You've probably all heard of this next one, and that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I also have Circe, which I think I showed you guys in my last book haul, but I'm really excited to read both of these. I love mythology, and obviously these are both retellings of different stories. This one is obviously about Achilles, and I actually did not read the synopsis. Like, the only thing I'm going off of is the fact that everybody has seemed to love this, and everybody seems to be sobbing while they're reading at least the ending. So I'm really excited. I'm also a little scared because A, it's really hyped up, and B, I'm kind of scared this book will wreck me. I don't usually cry while I read. I cry a lot on the inside, but I don't usually cry physical tears. So I feel like this one's going to make me sob, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. So we'll see once I'm brave enough to get to it. I plan on doing a reading vlog when I decide to read this, so keep your eyes open for that. I don't know when I will end up reading it, but I will make sure to let you guys know. And this last TikTok book is actually one that I've already read, and that is Crave by Tracy Wolff. I just read this for my TikTok Made Me Read It reading vlog that I posted earlier this week, and I loved it. I honestly did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but it's somehow really nostalgic. Like, it's a little cliche and cringy at times, but it's very nostalgic. It reminds me of the books that got me into reading in the first place, and I really loved it. It made me laugh. I couldn't stop laughing and smiling, but it also made me feel a lot of things, and it was just really good. And I didn't expect to want to continue the whole series, but I definitely will. I had to stop myself from buying the rest of the series immediately, so I really enjoyed it. I really did. And if you want to see more of my thoughts, go ahead and check out my reading vlog. I will also try to link that below, or actually it might show up in the end card at the end of this video, so you can go ahead and check that out for more thoughts. Okay, now we are on to some series that I got, and these aren't full series, but the first one is Blue Lily, Lily Blue, and The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, which are books 3 and 4 in the Raven cycle. I read the second book, I think last month. I'm not really sure. All of these months are kind of blurring together for me. But I think I read it last month, so that would mean it would be in my March wrap-up. But don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But I really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it way more than the first one, and it made me want to continue the series. So I decided to get both of them so that when I do decide to finish it, I can just binge the rest, because I'm not very good at finishing series that I start. So I'm really excited to finish at least one that's on my TBR. But I'm very excited. I'm not going to tell you guys too much about what these books are about, because obviously there's spoilers for the first 2 books, but I have talked about those 2 in some recent videos if you'd like to check those out. Next, I got a duology, which is Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller, and I have read Daughter of the Pirate King. I loved this one as well. This was my first nautical read, and it did not disappoint. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about pirates and sirens and all that stuff, but I love it. It's super cool. What's the main character's name? Alosa, I think. she's like super badass and super confident, which I wasn't sure how I would feel because I'm not the most confident person sometimes. So I didn't know if I'd connect to her. But I really enjoyed her character. She's so cool. And I also really loved the love interest in here. He was like really sweet and charming, but like also had moments where you're like, what is happening right now? I don't know. It's just really great. I loved the whole adventure that happened. This one is about her intentionally getting captured by some enemy pirates because she's supposed to track down this ancient map for her dad. And I don't know, she's just so confident. She's like, yeah, I'll get captured because I can get out whenever I feel like it. And that's so funny to me and so cool. But there she ends up, it says, yeah. There's only one thing standing between her and the map, which is her captor, the unexpectedly clever and unfairly attractive first mate. I loved everything about this, and Trisha Levenseller's writing sucked me in. I didn't expect to be that captivated by this book, and she's honestly one of my favorite authors now. I've read this, and I've also read The Shadows Between Us, which was also in that reading vlog that I've been talking about, so you can check out that for my thoughts. But she's quickly becoming one of my favorite authors. She's up there with Stephanie Garber and Carrie Maniscalco for me. She creates amazing worlds. I'm obsessed with her characters, and it's just really great. So oh, that's backwards. I went out and got this one right away because I need to know what happens, and I'm excited to see the ending to this duology. The last series I have books from is the Cruel Prince series. I got The Wicked King as a gift from my fiance, and I got The Queen of Nothing, and these are both by Holly Black if you didn't know. But I found this one in the bargain section. I don't know if I said that. This is one of my bargain reads. I was super excited. I couldn't believe it was in the bargain section. I think I got it for maybe $5, and it's a hardcover, and it's great. So now I have the complete series. I have read The Cruel Prince, but I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else did, and everybody says that they did. So I might end up rereading it because it might have just been the time frame in which I read it. So I'm going to give that one another chance before I finish the series. I kind of want to just binge it in one go because I feel like that'll give me the full experience. But I am super excited, and I also love the foil on all of these books. They're gorgeous. That has nothing to do with what they're about, but I can't really tell you too much because it'll spoil The Cruel Prince. So, but yeah, look at that. Beautiful. So excited to finish this because everybody loves it, and I feel like usually my opinions go with what everybody else thinks, so I feel like I should like it. And there's so much fan art, and I just keep seeing stuff about it everywhere, and so I want to be in the loop. I want to finally read it and see what all the hype's about. So we will see. Let me know if you want me to do a reading vlog for this as well. I will reread Cruel Prince and then tell you guys my thoughts as I read this. I just am really into reading vlogs. I feel like the one that I posted this week might have been a little bit of a mess because it was my first one, but I had a great time, and so I just want to do some smaller reading vlogs for you guys if you would enjoy that. This next section is my bargain section and my miscellaneous section. Up first, we have Geekerella by Ashley Poston, and this is a Cinderella retelling. It's like a modern retelling, and it's honestly really cute. I have actually read this one. I listened to the audiobook, I think last year actually, and I really loved it, and this was another gift for my fiance. As you could tell, he spoils me, and he buys me so many books, and I really appreciate it. But this is really cool. Oh, I didn't realize there were little text. I don't know if they're text conversations. Yeah, they're text. That's really cool because when you listen to the audiobook, you can't tell. But I always love books that include text or emails or anything like that because it's like a different form of media in here. So that's really cool. And it might be told from different perspectives. Yes, it's told from both of the main characters' perspectives, which is great. This is about Elle, who grew up watching this sci-fi show Starfield with her late father, and she ends up seeing this cosplay contest, and the winner gets to go to this cosplay ball and meet the new actor for the reboot of this series. So with her savings from working at the pumpkin food truck and her dad's costume, she is determined to win unless her stepsisters get there first. And our other main character is Darian, and he used to love going to cons until he became an actor, because now they're just awkward situations of autographs and photo shoots and all of those things. All he's ever wanted is to play this character in Starfield, but now that he has the role, all of the fans of the show just think he's this teen heartthrob who knows nothing about the show, and they don't really like his casting. So he starts to feel more and more like a fake until he meets a girl at the convention who shows him something different. And like I said, I've already read it. I really enjoyed it. I don't remember too many of my thoughts because I've read so many books since I listened to this audiobook, but I'm pretty sure I do have a review on Goodreads, so please go ahead and check that out if you'd like to know more of my thoughts, but it's adorable and I recommend you guys pick this one up. This next one is one of my favorite standalones of all time, and I think I got it. Oh, I listened to the audiobook initially, so that's why I didn't have a physical copy, but this is another book that my fiance surprised me with, and that is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And before I tell you guys what it's about, I just have to show you in here. Like, I'm obsessed. It's on the back too, okay? So it just looks gorgeous, and I'm literally obsessed. Anyway, this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and this is about the Queen of Hearts before she was the Queen of Hearts. So it's about her journey from this sweet young girl, I think her name's Catherine, if I remember correctly. Yes. It's her journey from this sweet young girl to who we know as the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. And I loved this. It totally fits the vibe of Alice in Wonderland. It's super weird and super creative, and so I don't know if whimsical is the right word, but like definitely kind of like a twisted fairy tale, and I love that vibe. I loved the characters. They just jumped off the page, and honestly the ending of this kind of broke me, so be prepared for that, but it's so worth it. I honestly kind of want to reread it now that I have a physical copy, but please read this. I love it so much, and I know it might be a little hyped up on booktok, or at least it used to be, but I think it's worth it, and it's one of my favorite retellings and definitely one of my favorite standalones. Now we are on to some of my actual bargain reads, and that first one is Always and Forever, Lara Jean by Jenny Han, which is book 3 in the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series, which I have not started, but I got the other 2 from the bargain section like a few weeks ago, I think, so I was really excited to find this third one so I can binge the series and then binge all the movies on Netflix. I think it sounds super cute, and I am so excited to work my way through this series and work my way through those movies. I feel like everybody really enjoys it, and the fact that all 3 books were turned into movies on Netflix just shows me that it's a very good series. So I'm excited. That's really all I know about it. I don't know too much about it. This next one is another one I couldn't believe I found in the bargain section, and that is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. And I have actually read this one as well. This is one of my first Christina Lauren books that I've read, and I loved it. This is kind of like a fixer-upper, like Chip and Joanna Gaines, mixed with like a little bit of toxicity. I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's like this couple that's kind of on HGTV, or at least like their version of it in the book, and their marriage is kind of falling apart behind the scenes, so their assistants have to go on this road trip with them. I think it's like a book tour, and they have to make sure that they keep it together for the public and don't blow their cover, and it's honestly kind of messed up that they're forced to do that, but it's very interesting because you have this background of like a toxic public relationship, and then in the forefront you have this very sweet, adorable relationship between the assistants, and it's super amazing. I just really love that contrast between the 2 vibes, and it's just a really heartfelt book. I remember really loving, his name was James, I think, yes. I remember really loving James and Carrie together, and just loving James in general. He's a very great book boyfriend, and it's just really great, and I enjoyed it a lot, so I wanted to get my hands on it, and I'm so excited to find it in the bargain section. This next set of books are used books that I found at a local coffee shop, and I'm so glad that I found these. I usually don't see any books that I am interested in. I see a lot that I recognize, but they're like older YA, so I was really excited to find some newer ones, or at least ones that I was interested in. And this first one is one that I had on my Goodreads shelf. It's like one of the first ones on my Goodreads shelf, so I've had it forever and I've never gotten my hands on it. So now I have it, and that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab. Pretty sure it's the same person. And I'm very excited to read this. I don't really remember what it's about though, so I'm just going to read the back for you guys. It says, "There's no such thing as safe in a city full of monsters. Kate Harker wants to be as ruthless as her father to prove she's worthy to stand beside him and lead their city. August Flynn wants to be human, but he isn't. He's a monster, one that can steal souls with a song, his own father's secret weapon. Their city is divided. Their city is crumbling. Kate and August are the only two who see both sides, the only two who could do something. But how do you decide whether to be a hero or a villain when it's hard to tell which is which?" That sounds so cool. The fact that one of the characters is a monster and he can steal people's souls with song is such an interesting concept. And I love that there is this fatherly dynamic for both characters, it sounds like. Yeah, because Kate wants to follow in her father's footsteps, and then August has his powers that are also his father's secret weapon. So it's a very interesting dynamic, and I am very excited to read this. I'm not sure if there's like a romance in here. Also, it kind of gives me like spooky vibes, so that's kind of cool. I love that it says that about like how do you decide whether to be a hero or a villain when it's hard to figure out which is which. That's really cool. I love that concept. I love that like morally gray area. I feel like as people who love YA, we always love morally gray characters. So I'm excited to meet these characters. And also I'm just excited to read a V.E. Schwab book because I see her stuff everywhere and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. So many people love her work. And so I'm excited to read this. I feel like it might have been one of the first like series that she's done. I think this is like a duology. So I need to get the other one. I just looked at it, I forgot the title. Our Dark Duet. I need to get that one so I can just binge it because I feel like once I start reading this one, I'm not going to want to put it down and I'm going to want to finish the duology. So I need to grab that one and then I will let you guys know my thoughts. This is another one I've been wanting to get my hands on forever and I was really excited to find, and that is Sadie by Courtney Summers. And this is, I think, like a mystery thriller type thing. That's the vibe it gives me, at least. And this takes place in this small, isolated town following 19-year-old Sadie and her younger sister, Maddie. And I think her younger sister is murdered, and Sadie will do whatever it takes to get revenge. And that's all I know about it, but it sounds really cool. And the little blurb here says, if she dies, she takes the truth with her. And that's really interesting. I don't really read a lot of thrillers or mysteries, but whenever one catches my eye, I always want to pick it up because I really want to get into that genre. I think it's really cool. I read Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and I loved that. And in terms of thrillers, I think the only one that I can think of is All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. That's who wrote that. I loved that one as well. So this gives me very similar vibes to both of those. And so I'm very excited to read this. And I'm really glad that I found a used copy because that just makes me happy. I love saving money because I buy way too many books. I really don't know too much about this next one, but the cover looked adorable, so I wanted to pick it up. It looks like a very cute summary read, and that is Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. And this is about this little ice cream shop where it has an all-girl staff, and they kind of are like older sisters for each other. They like help each other out and tell each other, not secrets, but you know, like sisterly things. Or like motherly things, if that makes sense. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. And it's finally Amelia's turn to be the manager. So she's very excited to pass down the things that she learned from the people that trained her. Except there is this big plot twist, and that is the fact that this guy, Grady, who is the grandnephew of the Stand's founder, ends up taking over the business unexpectedly and kind of throws all the traditions out the window. So that's all I know about it, but it sounds adorable. I mean, it's called Stay Sweet and it takes place at an ice cream parlor, so like what more could you want? But it sounds very interesting and I'm excited to read this probably during the summer and honestly probably while I'm eating ice cream because I'm sure it's gonna make me hungry. Last but not least, we have From Twinkle with Love by Sandy Manon. And I actually read When Dimple Met Rishi by this author in, I think it was last month. I think it was the end of last month. And I enjoyed it way more than I was expecting. So once I saw this one, I wanted to pick it up as well. And this one, I think, has a more film-based focus. I mean, that would make sense. But our main character, Twinkle, has always been like this film geek. And she was approached and asked to direct this film, I think. Yeah, that would make sense. And all of a sudden, this mystery man, N, begins emailing her, and she thinks she knows who it is, and she's definitely ready to fall for him. But the only problem is, while she's making this movie, she ends up falling in love with this adorable guy who's actually the one that approached her to direct the film in the first place. And she soon realizes that she can't resist him, even though she was definitely prepared to fall for the guy she's emailing. She realizes that she really likes him instead. At least that's what it sounds like, but I'm very excited. This is adorable. I actually listened to the audiobook of When Dimple Met Rishi, so I'm interested to see if my reading experience changes by reading a physical version, but I'm very excited. I love the way she wrote her characters. It was meaningful and adorable, and there's a lot of humor in it, so I'm very excited for this one. So we have finally reached the end of this book haul of 20 books. I don't know how I ended up accumulating so many, but it's fine. It's not a problem. I mean, I love collecting books. I love reading, but I think I love collecting books a little bit more. I think I'm addicted, so it's fine. My bank account doesn't like it, but it makes me happy. Anyway, not the point. If you enjoyed this book haul, please like this video and go ahead and comment down below if you would like reading vlogs for certain books, because I would love to do that for you guys. And if you ended up liking this video and want more videos like it, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.